Greetings, Japan fans. Today's show, we are going to be looking at Shu-Ha-Ri and leadership. Maishu, arigatou gozaimasu, and welcome back to the 10th year of the Leadership Japan series. I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and three-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, Japan Presentations Mastery, and my new book, Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muda ni Suru no wa Yamimashou. And all of my books are available on Amazon. This podcast brings insights, examples, and experience about leading in Japan. Trust me, it is different here. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series. And every second Tuesday, the Business Touches in no Oshie show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Before we get going, today's handy Japanese phrase is Potsu potsu kitta ne. Potsu potsu kitta ne. It's sprinkling rain, just starting to rain. Just a few drops of rain coming. Potsu potsu kitta ne. Potsu potsu kitta ne. You might remember a couple of weeks ago we did starting to pour, like zazaburi dane. Zazaburi dane. Oh man, we haven't had heavy rain for a while. Zazaburi dane. Wow, look at this heavy rain. I haven't had that for a while. Zazaburi dane. Zazaburi dane. Well, today we're doing it's starting to sprinkle. Potsu potsu kitta ne. Potsu potsu kitta ne. Potsu potsu kitta ne. This is episode number 491. 491. Today we're talking about the Japanese concept of Shu-Ha-Ri and leadership. The Japanese idea of Shu-Ha-Ri is a combination of three characters. Shu is to protect the traditional techniques, the basics, the fundamentals. Ha is to detach and break away from the tradition, to innovate and depart from our attachments to what we are doing. Ri is to transcend to a level where there is no self-consciousness of what we are doing. We make it our own because we've absorbed it all and it is now part of us. This transition matches what we are going through as leaders. When we start, we're unsure of exactly what we are supposed to be doing, but over time we mature as leaders and can raise our effectiveness to greater heights. Well, that applies if we've been properly trained on the way up, which probably makes it difficult for most Japanese leaders to make the cut. On the OJT, on-the-job training, that's great. If your mentor, leader, provides an excellent role model on which to base your own leadership style. This is very much a long shot at best in Japan. Getting proper training, however, is a much better proposition to create the base for a Shu-Ha-Ri progression. Leadership at the practical level rotates around some core skills, such as communication, coaching, personal time management, and dealing with different types of people. Usually we enter leadership through the path of personal capability and results achievement. Senior leaders are never going to promote a dud or average performer into a leadership role unless they are totally desperate for a warm body to fulfill a temporary role. Having abilities in a functional role is not much help, though, when it comes to leading others who may be totally wired differently and variously motivated to do the work. If we get a base of leadership training, we can work on the proper skills to be an effective leader. Knowing what to do and how to do it is a big advance on trying to work it out yourself. If we understand the principles of communication, we can practice and hone these skills until we become excellent in mastering our powers of persuasion. This opens up new vistas for achieving results because now we're getting more and more of the team on board and they are pulling together with improved teamwork and heading in the same direction. Coaching is a similar area of strong need and one of the most challenging tasks of the leader. Trying to work out how to be an effective coach by yourself is asking for trouble and will waste massive amounts of energy and time, yielding very minimal return. Once we know what to do, we can start turning our work environment into a massive laboratory to see what happens when we take certain actions. Find out more. We come back from the break. Our show today is being brought to you by our public courses, but we also do custom in-house programs as well as doing them both in Japanese and English. On the 30th of November and again on the 7th of December, we're running our Dale Carnegie course. This is probably the one course in the world with the most graduates. I think it's something around about 9 million graduates of this one course now globally, which is just phenomenal. And there's a reason for that. It's been going for 100 years and it really helps people to become so much more effective in their jobs and in their lives too, because it applies to your family, friends, as colleagues as well. So you know how to get on with people, how to communicate, how to talk to people, how to lead people, dealing with the stress, how to step up and step out and have the confidence to do that. It covers off all of those areas, which is just phenomenal because it's very hard to do all of those things. On the 12th of the 12th of December, we're doing leadership training for managers. This is our flagship leadership program. It's the nuts and bolts, it's the nitty-gritty, it's the toolkit, pick your metaphor for describing it, but it is phenomenal. It's practical leadership, extremely practical leadership. And most leaders in Japan are not trained. They're learning from their bosses, on-the-job training they call it. Well, if your boss is a genius at leading, that's great, but what are the chances of that, do you think? Not high, right? So most people don't really get much good quality training on being a leader, have to try and work it out themselves. Well, don't do that. Send them to this course and we'll help them to work it out with us on things that we know work, and we know they work here because we've been doing this for 60 years in Japan, so track record is right there. Our website is www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. That's www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. You can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have nearly 2,000 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show in Japan, every Monday, Tokyo time. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show, and on Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from SMEs all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on the topic of leading in Japan. Now, every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. Don't forget to grab my business books on Japan on Amazon. Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, Japan Presentations Mastery, and Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de okane o muda ni suru no wa yamemashou. Welcome back. Naturally, if you are a shambles because you are not well organized, you won't have enough time for communication and coaching with the team members. As we get more practice, we naturally get better, and this is where the Ha segment of the journey allows us to try new things and expand the scope of our perspective on what is possible. We can get into greater and greater depths of personalization with our communication and coaching. We can better tailor what we're doing to the needs of the team members, treating them as individuals and being able to respond accordingly. Our innovation ability also increases as we have a stronger base to work off. We start to see patterns, whereas before we just saw a confusing mess of variables which we couldn't get into any legitimate order. As we improve, our people can feel more trust and closer to us. Coaching in particular requires an enormous amount of trust to be effective. maybe at the start of the boss-subordinate relationship, the team members, they're not that keen to open the kimono to a boss who they're not sure of. That consolidated pattern recognition, combined with practical leadership training, provides the right toolbox for us to be effective in a leadership role. At the Ri stage, we start to create our own unique leadership style, which is the product of many additions and deletions over time. We also begin to create a portable system which can be applied in any work environment with any crew. We are no longer having to think what we should be doing in certain circumstances because we now know what will be the best course of action, or maybe we decide we should be taking no action whatsoever. This ability to find a system which we can apply universally is a big advantage because it means we can be given more and more complex assignments and we will be successful. Problems for our people come up, and after a while we realize it tends to be the same types of problems. We also find that problem people keep popping up who all basically look the same. The solutions needed are now second nature to us, and so we can get straight into action without suffering any self-doubt. We don't have to expend a lot of nervous energy on the process. We are that swan gliding across the lake surface now. Shu-Ha-Ri is a good concept for us to realize where we are in the process of maturing as a leader and therefore what actions we need to take at each stage. Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan series. If you found the program useful, then tell your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. You can contact me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Our website is www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Until the next episode, take what you thought valuable, put it into action, because idea application is what makes winners winners. So be one of them. Remember, I'm in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.